Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. You think you know the best war films ever made? Think again. The 1970s gave us some absolutely brutal, complex war movies that studios buried and audiences forgot. We're talking about films so dark, so controversial, that some were literally banned in their own countries. Here's the shocking part. Several of these films are still impossible to find on streaming platforms. Today we're counting down 13 forgotten 70s war films that absolutely deserve your attention. Stick around because number one changed cinema forever and almost nobody has seen it. The Dam Busters, 1955. Hold up, yes, we know the date. The Dam Busters technically premiered in the 50s, but the film experienced a massive revival and re-release throughout the 70s that introduced it to an entirely new generation of moviegoers. This British war masterpiece chronicles Operation Chastise, the absolutely audacious 1943 RAF mission to destroy German dams using the revolutionary bouncing bomb. Engineer Barnes Wallace, played brilliantly by Michael Redgrave, develops this weapon that literally skips across water like a stone before detonating. Wing Commander Guy Gibson, Richard Todd, leads the legendary 6117 Squadron in executing this high-risk attack that sounds like pure science fiction but actually happened. What makes this film genuinely incredible is its meticulous portrayal of engineering challenges combined with the raw bravery of airmen knowingly flying into certain death. The production consulted extensively with actual RAF personnel who participated in the original mission. The flying sequences remain breathtaking even by modern standards because they shot them with real aircraft, real cameras, and real pilots risking their lives daily. The famous Lancaster bomber scenes capture genuine danger in every frame. Michael Redgrave delivers career-best work as the determined engineer fighting bureaucracy and physics simultaneously. Richard Todd brings authentic gravitas as the officer who understands his men are flying suicide missions. The film's climax features practical explosions and water effects that took weeks to choreograph perfectly. Overlord, 1975. Overlord might be the most unique war film ever made, and absolutely nobody talks about it anymore. Director Stuart Cooper created something revolutionary by seamlessly blending archival World War II footage with fictional narrative to depict the journey of Tom Betts, a young British conscript played by Brian Sterner. Tom undergoes brutal training and experiences fleeting moments of love before being haunted by increasingly vivid premonitions of his inevitable fate on D-Day. The integration of authentic footage with dramatized scenes should feel jarring, but instead creates something hypnotic and deeply unsettling. Cinematographer John Alcott employed vintage camera lenses that ensure a seamless visual blend between historical documentation and imagined narrative. The effect is absolutely mesmerizing, creating a hauntingly realistic portrayal of war that feels like watching actual history unfold around fictional characters. The film takes genuine risks by refusing to provide closure or comfort to viewers. Tom's story spirals toward destruction despite his moments of happiness and connection. The editing pace accelerates as D-Day approaches, creating mounting dread that becomes genuinely unbearable by the finale. The Eagle has landed, 1976. Here's one everybody remembers, at least vaguely. But the 1976 version, directed by John Sturges, became massively underrated compared to its initial release hype. Based on Jack Higgins's best-selling novel, the film follows a bold German plot to kidnap Winston Churchill during a secret English village visit. Michael Caine plays Major John Smith, a German officer who actually respects his British enemies and conducts operations with genuine professionalism rather than fanaticism. The premise sounds absolutely ridiculous, but the film plays it completely straight, creating thrilling tension from pure concept alone. The production design and period details absolutely astound with painstaking accuracy in vehicles, weapons, uniforms, and architecture. Filming took place in actual English locations during authentic settings, grounding the fantastical plot in visual reality. The ensemble cast, including Donald Sutherland, Robert Duvall, and Jenny Agutter, all deliver grounded performances that make audiences partially root for the German kidnappers despite their opposing allegiance. This moral complexity became controversial in some territories where audiences found sympathetic Nazi portrayal troubling. The action sequences employ practical effects and stunt work that creates genuine danger and excitement without relying on quick editing or camera tricks. The film grossed over $40 million worldwide during its theatrical run, making it one of the 70s biggest commercial successes. Critics praised its pure entertainment value while acknowledging the quality filmmaking beneath the popcorn premise. Audiences treated it as serious cinema rather than pulp adventure. Michael Caine's performance resonated particularly because he portrayed professionalism and honor even within an enemy uniform. The film influenced countless espionage thrillers and heist narratives that followed. Modern critics rediscovering it express shock at the film's polish and competence. The pacing never drags despite complicated plot mechanics. Every character receives genuine development and motivation. The finale delivers emotional payoff despite the predetermined historical outcome. The Eagle Has Landed demonstrates how compelling alternative history becomes when executed with genuine craft and intelligence. Cross of Iron, 1977. Sam Peckinpah's Cross of Iron remains one of cinema's most brutal and uncompromising war films in the 70s generation. Mostly rejected it upon release. James Coburn plays Sergeant Rolf Steiner, a hardened Wehrmacht veteran fighting on the Russian front who only cares about earning the Iron Cross to secure promotion and escape the carnage. The film refuses to romanticize German soldiers or their cause, instead depicting them as exhausted professionals simply trying to survive an unwinnable situation. Peckinpah's direction brings his trademark graphic violence and psychological intensity to every frame, creating something genuinely disturbing that transcends typical war movie entertainment. The production shot on location in Yugoslavia using genuine landscapes that evoke the brutal Eastern Front conditions. Stuntmen and extras suffered legitimate injuries during combat sequences because Peckinpah demanded authenticity over safety. The cinematography captures mud, blood, and misery with unblinking honesty. James Coburn delivers one of his finest performances as a morally compromised soldier pursuing personal ambition while comrades die around him. The film explores how institutional loyalty becomes corrupted when survival instinct overrides ethics. Every scene contains tension between desire for decoration and acknowledgement of futility. The film's influence on subsequent war cinema became apparent through its impact on directors seeking authenticity over spectacle. Stray Dogs and similar late-career Peckinpah films demonstrate his commitment to questioning traditional war movie narratives. Cross of Iron remains difficult viewing but absolutely essential cinema for understanding 70s filmmaking ambition. Inglourious Basterds, 1978. Hold on, this is not Tarantino's famous film. The 1978 Italian war film, Inglourious Basterds, predates Tarantino's work by over 30 years and influenced everything he would later create regarding irreverent historical action cinema. Director Enzo G. Castellari crafted this Italian-Yugoslav co-production about American prisoners escaping during World War II who join an unlikely alliance with Italian partisans against their mutual German enemies. The title perfectly captures the film's tone regarding respect for neither authority nor historical accuracy, instead embracing pure adventure and action spectacle. Inglourious Basterds achieved cult status among 70s action cinema fans despite limited theatrical release and poor critical reception. Italian audiences embraced the film's irreverent approach to war storytelling while American critics dismissed it as trashy exploitation. The film disappeared from general consciousness until Tarantino famously acknowledged its influence on his own work. Modern viewers discovering the original experience genuine surprise at its entertainment value and technical competence. The practical action sequences hold up remarkably well compared to contemporary American productions. The ensemble cast delivers believable camaraderie despite language barriers and cultural differences. Castellari's direction proves consistently inventive in staging fights, chases, and escapes across varied terrain. Inglourious Basterds represents 70s B-movie cinema at its best, combining commercial ambitions with genuine artistic commitment. Rogue's Tavern, 1936. Actually, scratch that. Let's talk about A Bridge Too Far, 1977, because this absolutely massive production somehow gets overlooked in contemporary war film discussions despite its genuine brilliance. Director Richard Attenborough orchestrated this sprawling adaptation of Cornelius Ryan's historical account of Operation Market Garden with a scale and ambition that remains breathtaking decades later. The film follows the Allied attempt to secure key bridges across the Dutch-German border in September 1944, a plan that ultimately failed despite initial tactical brilliance. Attenborough assembled an astonishing international cast including Sean Connery, Michael Caine, Laurence Olivier, Ryan O'Neal, Robert Redford, and James Caan in an ensemble that represented unprecedented star power for war cinema. A Bridge Too Far grossed over $50 million worldwide, becoming a massive commercial success that proved audiences wanted intelligent, complex war storytelling without requiring simplistic heroism or easy resolution. Critics recognized it as serious cinema addressing genuine historical events with respect and sophistication. The film's length and episodic structure occasionally frustrated viewers accustomed to tighter narratives, but the deliberate pacing allowed proper development of numerous storylines and characters. Modern audiences rediscovering the film express amazement at its scope and technical achievement. The practical effects and stunt work represent 70s cinema at peak capability. The ensemble cast elevates material through genuine performances rather than star vehicles. A Bridge Too Far remains essential 70s cinema, demonstrating that serious war films could achieve both critical respect and commercial success. The Last Days of Mussolini, 1974. This Italian production remains obscure outside Europe despite dealing with genuinely significant historical events during war's final chaos. The film depicts the dramatic capture and execution of Benito Mussolini and his mistress, Clara Petacci, as Italian partisans seized power during World War II's conclusion. Italian director Carlo Ponti brought documentary authenticity to the proceedings while maintaining dramatic tension regarding Mussolini's final hours. The film avoids melodrama in favor of procedural realism, showing capture and execution as brutal necessity rather than righteous vengeance. The production employed Italian locations and minor historical reenactment to ground the narrative in authentic settings. The cast, including Rod Steiger as Mussolini, delivered committed performances, treating the material with appropriate gravity despite sensationalist elements. The film explores how power dissolves when institutional support evaporates. Mussolini's transformation from dictator to hunted fugitive occurs rapidly and unexpectedly. The narrative maintains sympathy toward historical victims without excusing Mussolini's horrific actions and authoritarian regime. The execution sequence unfolds with uncomfortable realism rather than glorification or graphic excess. The Last Days of Mussolini received limited theatrical distribution outside Italy before disappearing into obscurity. Italian audiences engaged with the material as recent history, while international viewers found it less relevant to their own national experiences. The film influenced subsequent Italian cinema addressing war's final moments and regime collapse. Modern audiences discovering it recognize its artistic ambition and historical courage. The production value surprises with authenticity and care despite modest budgets. The film deserves recognition for treating difficult historical subjects with appropriate complexity and respect. The Last Days of Mussolini demonstrates European cinema's commitment to historical examination and national reckoning. Breakthrough, 1979. This ambitious World War II epic, directed by Andrew V. McLaglen, tells the true story of Allied forces breaking through German lines in 1944, preventing Nazi counteroffensive and securing victory's trajectory. The film follows American troops under genuine historical command, making critical decisions under impossible pressure. Karl Malden plays the American general coordinating complex operations across multiple fronts while managing political complications beneath military strategy. The production captures tactical complexity without becoming incomprehensible to general audiences unfamiliar with military terminology and operational specifics. Breakthrough assembled an international cast including Jack Palance and Helmut Berger, bringing European and American talent together for an expansive co-production. The budget exceeded $30 million, indicating serious studio commitment to the historical subject matter. Filming took place across European locations, recreating authentic battlefields and period settings. The practical effects and stunt coordination required coordinating hundreds of performers and extensive military equipment. The cinematography captures both grand strategic scope and individual soldier experiences simultaneously. The film grossed over $60 million during its theatrical run, proving 70s audiences possessed genuine appetite for intelligent war storytelling. Critics praised the film's technical achievement while occasionally criticizing its episodic structure and character development spread across numerous subplots. International audiences responded particularly strongly to the balanced portrayal of multiple nationalities and perspectives. The film's influence appeared throughout subsequent military history cinema. Modern audiences rediscovering Breakthrough appreciate the authentic portrayals of historical events and the refusal to simplify complex military operations into simple narratives. Karl Malden's performance grounds the technical material through genuine human emotion and leadership authenticity. Breakthrough remains underrated 70s cinema deserving contemporary recognition. The Wild Geese, 1978. The Wild Geese presents itself as straightforward adventure entertainment while actually exploring mercenary warfare, post-colonial politics, and moral ambiguity regarding military intervention in African conflicts. Richard Burton delivers a career-defining performance as a seasoned mercenary leader hired to rescue a deposed African president from hostile captors. The film balances action spectacle with genuine political complexity regarding colonialism, resource extraction, and Western military intervention in developing nations. Director Andrew V. McLaglen orchestrated impressive action sequences using actual South African locations and military equipment. The ensemble cast, including Roger Moore, Richard Harris, Hardy Kruger, and others, brought star power to genre material that could have become simple exploitation. Instead, the film maintains thematic sophistication, addressing uncomfortable questions regarding military violence and its justifications. The The production shot on genuine African locations, creating authentic atmospheric texture. The action sequences employ practical effects and stunt work without digital manipulation. The narrative refuses easy resolution or comfortable moral positioning. Characters represent various ideological positions without the film endorsing simplistic interpretations. The Wild Geese grossed over $90 million worldwide, becoming a massive commercial hit that validated adult audiences' interest in intelligent action cinema. Critics recognized the film's thematic complexity beneath surface entertainment values. The film influenced subsequent action cinema addressing mercenary operations and military interventionism. Richard Burton's performance resonated as serious acting work rather than star vehicle. Modern audiences discovering it praised the political sophistication and action authenticity. The film remains relevant, addressing contemporary military intervention debates. The Wild Geese demonstrates 70s cinema commitment to combining commercial appeal with artistic integrity and thematic ambition. Tora, 1970. This magnificent co-production between American and Japanese filmmakers depicts the December 7, 1941 attack on Pearl Harbor from both American and Japanese perspectives simultaneously. American director Richard Fleischer and Japanese director Kinji Fukasaku collaborated on a film that required extraordinary coordination, cultural sensitivity, and technical achievement. The film's subtitle literally translates to tiger, and the film captures both the Japanese operational planning and American response with meticulous historical research and authentic recreations. The production employed actual military consultants from both nations, ensuring accuracy regarding tactics, uniforms, weapon systems, and command structures. The budget exceeded $25 million, making it one of the most expensive productions of its era. The production required coordinating American and Japanese crews across multiple international locations. The naval sequences employed actual military vessels and aircraft where possible, mixing practical footage with miniature model work and cinematographic innovation. The ensemble cast, including Martin Balsam, Jason Robards, So Yamamura, and Tatsuya Mihashi, delivered committed performances treating the material with appropriate historical weight. The cinematography captures the period aesthetic while maintaining clarity regarding complex military operations. Tora represented unprecedented cooperation between nations regarding historical examination of their mutual conflict. The film's balanced approach, acknowledging both American heroism and Japanese tactical efficiency, created controversial discussions in both nations regarding how war could be depicted fairly. The film grossed over $93 million worldwide, validating international audiences' appetite for sophisticated historical cinema. Critics praised the technical achievement and narrative balance. The film's influence appeared throughout subsequent international cinema, addressing historical conflicts. Modern audiences appreciate the authentic perspective balancing and respect for all participants' experiences. Tora remains extraordinary cinema, demonstrating how filmmaking could bridge cultural divides while maintaining historical honesty. Apocalypse Now, 1979. Francis Ford Coppola's Apocalypse Now redefined war cinema and destroyed its director simultaneously through an obsessive, transformative production that generated legendary stories of chaos, madness, and artistic brilliance. Ostensibly adapting Joseph Conrad's Heart of Darkness to the Vietnam War, the film instead became Coppola's personal descent into filmmaking obsession and psychological breakdown. Marlon Brando plays Colonel Kurtz, a rogue American officer who establishes his own kingdom within Cambodian jungle, functioning as a deity to his followers while operating beyond institutional authority and accountability. Martin Sheen undertakes a dangerous journey upriver, confronting increasing madness and moral degradation along the path to confronting his nemesis. The production became legendary for its catastrophic budget overages, cast traumas, and location disasters. Martin Sheen suffered an actual heart attack during filming, forcing production cessation while he recovered. Marlon Brando arrived overweight and unprepared, requiring expensive reshooting and rewrites. The Vietnam War ended during production, making the film's subject matter devastatingly relevant while complicating documentation and accuracy. Typhoons destroyed sets and equipment, requiring complete rebuilding. Coppola's obsessive perfectionism extended production schedules indefinitely while costs spiraled beyond studio projections. Military equipment and personnel deployment became complicated by the actual war's conclusion. The Boys in Company C, 1978. Sidney Fury's The Boys in Company C remains devastatingly powerful cinema and one of the first films released commercially addressing Vietnam War with genuine honesty regarding American moral complexity and failure. The film follows a platoon of United States Marines from training through deployment to Vietnam, documenting their gradual transformation from idealistic recruits to traumatized veterans. The ensemble cast, including Andrew Stevens, James Canning, Craig Wasson, and others, delivers authentic performances capturing youth's collision with war's brutal reality. The narrative structure follows characters chronologically, allowing audiences to witness their psychological deterioration alongside viewers' emotional investment in their fates. Fury's direction maintains brutally honest perspective regarding American military operations, refusing to sanitize or justify actions occurring through institutional power and combat chaos. The film depicts American soldiers committing genuinely reprehensible acts born from fear, confusion, and institutional indoctrination rather than inherent evil. This moral complexity infuriated patriotic audiences while deeply impacting viewers questioning Vietnam War legitimacy. The cinematography captures Vietnam's landscape authenticity while documenting combat with documentary-style realism. The dialogue captures authentic military language and procedural jargon, creating believability throughout. The Boys in Company C became controversial upon release, with military organizations condemning its portrayal of American forces. Some theaters faced pressure regarding whether such critical war cinema deserved public exhibition. The film grossed modestly compared to contemporary blockbusters but achieved significant cultural impact among serious cinephiles and war film enthusiasts. Critics recognized genuine artistic achievement despite subject matter controversies. The film's influence appeared throughout subsequent Vietnam War cinema. Modern audiences discovering it expressed shock at the film's uncompromising perspective and emotional authenticity. The performances remain genuinely moving and difficult to watch. The film deserves recognition as 70s cinema's most honest war film examination. The Boys in Company C demonstrates cinema's power addressing national trauma and institutional failure with genuine artistic integrity and moral courage. Now I need to know your thoughts. Which of these films shocked you most? Have you watched any, and what did you think? More importantly, here's the controversial question that'll spark real discussion. Are these 70s war films genuinely superior to contemporary blockbusters, or does modern filmmaking technology and production value compensate for less complex storytelling? Drop your opinions in the comments and let's start a real conversation about whether cinema has genuinely evolved or simply changed.